We are recording, and we're streaming. Hooray!
That's flipping. Hang on. What's that doing?
That's updating something. Probably the PTR. Yeesh.
Every time. Stop it.
It only decides to update things when we're doing the stream.
Right?
Pretty much. Hello, Clockwork Babbage.
Okay, that sorted it. That's good.
Yeah, it was definitely just downloading some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Foolish. At this point, I think we've got most of this stuff set.
Health and spring.
Mm-hmm. I mean, feel free to tell me if the sound doesn't seem in balance or right, although right now it's just very light,
Very
piano-y type tones, so not too much to
Yep.
write home about.
Yeah, this video is a game.
Indeed.
Yeah, welcome to Thursday Grab Bag Game.
Celeste is fantastic, and I love it. I have done some speedruns of it before, but that kind of misses out on, like, the characters and several of the, like, other outside challenge type stuff. So I really, really wanted to play it as a full game, you know, kind of show it off for itself. Again, I should say, it is a fantastic speedrunning game. The whole thing was built with speedruns in mind. So it, like, there's a ton of tech that the game just never tells you about, but that is super cool and interesting. But the nice thing is you don't actually really need it until you start getting into, like, the late B-side things in the higher up levels. And I think that makes it work really well, where it's like, it's a really difficult, challenging game, but it's still very, like, accessible and build your own challenge in a way. And I really like it for that, too. We'll talk about some of the features and stuff. It's real good. Yeah, the GDQ did a race last night at, like, 1 a.m. Eastern time, if not later. So you may not have had a chance to catch that.
Yeah, I need to watch it in VOD.
Mm-hmm. Going slow to protest GDQ, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Steal this, and can I get another tissue? Soak up all the sweat that this cup's gonna have. Hopefully the, you know, controller actually works with the game. I haven't actually, like, checked or anything. Lord knows I'm good at what I do.
Yep. Still very prepared at all times.
Definitely wasn't just setting this up, like, 5 minutes ago because the new Eternal set dropped and I had to take a look. Ugh. Yeah, we're good. Alright. So, we could probably just jump into the game, although I will say one thing.
Language is on Canadian English, is it?
Yep. I guess all the games that have, like, you know, the American flag or the British flag and all that, you might as well get a few that have the Canadian flag. Metroid Prime randomizer seems interesting. Okay, it looks like it's actually a thing that I'll find elsewhere.
Okay.
The setting that I was thinking of, which makes sense. I think it's actually on a per file basis. These two are both speedrunning files. This is my, like, actual file. There we go. That's the mode that I was actually going to bring up, assist mode.
Okay.
We will talk about that at some point.
Okay.
Anyway. I think we should get started. So, this is basically when you start a new file, you can turn assist mode on, I believe. Yeah, there we go. It'll actually tell you about what it actually is. And you can do, like, a ridiculous number of things with assist mode. And they say, you know, like, we recommend playing without it, but at the same time, that some people are just not going to be able to play it with it. So therefore,
That's nice.
we will perfectly happily, you know, allow you to do this. And assist mode is, like, super customizable. We won't be playing with it, but it's... If you've heard the... Like, if you've been turned off from the idea of this game because you've heard it's, like, super duper challenging, there are actually tools, and it doesn't, like, cut off an ending from you or whatever because you have assist mode on. I'm not sure if there are any achievements that aren't gettable with it. I think there might not be. You know, like, I think that you can get everything with assist mode on, but I could be wrong. Anyway, we won't be playing with it, but it's a really cool thing that you have. You can also rename it, but I think Madeline's a perfectly fine name.
Yep.
So, let's get started.
Rock and potentially roll.
Indeed. We already have a cutscene that I have not, that I don't show in the main version. Start here. The speedrun clock is still on. I might turn that off.
Yeah, speedrun that clock. Submit it.
Clearly, that's the way to do it. And I could just keep it on as well. Like, I don't think it matters too much for it. Anyway. So yeah, you start off, we jump at the A button, move left and right. Big rock here that will try to crush us. But we're too wise for that sort of thing. Oftentimes, this crow will come around to give you tutorials. The climbing system in this game works on a stamina thing, where if you hold on to a wall or like try to climb up too high with it, you will just start sliding down the wall. And you can totally like jump away from the wall and still do all sorts of stuff, but until you land on the ground again, your stamina will still be depleted. So like you can use it to get up something like this, but if you're trying to like get up like this sort of thing, it becomes very difficult to keep yourself going up, and that just stops you from being able to climb up everything. Worth noting, you will also slowly lose stamina while you hold onto a wall, so you can't just cling onto it forever. Eventually, Madeline will start losing her grip on it and start falling down it. Just important little things to be aware of. Here's the first character that we basically don't talk to at all in the speedrun.
Ignore this person.
Hope you're ready for Animal Crossing voices. Won't be the last time.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever.
Whatever.
Weird things.
Vampires.
Mm-hmm. Remember, she might have... Nope, no other... Basically, the nice thing about this game is that instead of repeating dialogue options, once someone's dialogued out, they won't have a talk icon over their head anymore. Of course, you run out onto this bridge, and it kind of starts collapsing. Uh-oh. The final movement mechanic that is sort of core to the whole game is the dash. And I love the way the game teaches that to you.
Bird.
That is the prologue. Not too much to do in the prologue itself. There's no, like, strawberries or anything else. And for the record, I probably won't go for every single strawberry, but I will, you know, be taking side paths and other stuff around with that, so...
Alright.
We'll definitely be seeing a lot more of the game than we did last time.
Maybe when we speedrun it and get, like, 1 strawberry.
Nope. Committed to mountain climbing. Because an old lady told us we couldn't do it.
Just fall down the mountain.
Good. So yeah, this first level is very much to kind of test you, or to kind of like, you know, get you familiar with the mechanics, sort of understand how everything works in it. A lot of the time it pays to explore, although usually you won't go down and find something. It's very rare that the game kind of puts a pit that has something, you know, like a pit that you think you'll die in, but then it doesn't kill you.
Okay.
That happens very rarely. Instead, we want to go up. Does mean we will get the chance to enjoy this wonderful music. For the record, strawberries are an optional difficulty adder mechanic where, like, you can go and collect them, and you have to touch the ground for, like, a certain amount of time for a strawberry to count as collected, which means you can't just, like, tap the ground and have it grabbed and then, you know, cheese it, basically. You have to get them legitimately most of the time. Get this. Normally I do some fancy kicks to go through, but it's not too bad to just go over and grab it. Yeah, you'll see the strawberry sort of like floats around with you while you're grabbing onto a wall, which means you can't just suicide grab it. I do some wacky tricks to get up this normally.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
You can do some real fun stuff in this game. There is some movement tech that they absolutely do not tell you about. The winged strawberries up there will run away if you dash. So if I go dash for it there, it flies away. It'll respawn if you die, so you can do that. And these signs actually do mention to you.
Right, yeah.
Kind of implies it that way. These platforms over here will fall when you stand on them. They will eventually come back fairly quickly, but usually in a way that makes it very tough for you to just stay with them, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's the strawberries provide a really nice extra difficulty thing that's like right in front of you and very much choose your own, because you can just decide, you know, fuck this other strawberry. The game will also often use these light cues to kind of point you towards things it's interested in letting you see. Like, for example, the actual exit to this room is the top right, but look over here. You can see that there are often like completely optional paths for strawberries. Come up this way. Not much over there. But it does actually give you a chance to see what you're doing.
All of death.
Yep. One's not too bad. Dive over here, although then you do have to do the shuffle. And ideally keep your dash so that when you fall through it, you can jump over to here. Although I believe you should be able to if you manage to grab the wall. Yeah, jump over. Another nice thing about Celeste is that there are a lot of ways to do challenges like this. And really, anything that manages to get you through is street legal. Come over through this room. We see that there's another strawberry up in this corner. I collected that one, so it's fine. And then another thing about Celeste that I really like, as the sort of person who loves just exploring and gathering secrets, is that this game is very good at rewarding you for noticing things, like cracks on a block like this. If you dash into that, we get into another secret room. These things here are sort of the main mechanic of the city. Whenever you grab them or jump or like stand on top of them, they will do this quick movement thing. And they will also impart momentum onto Madeline if she happens to be on them. Whoops. That's one way to get back. You can totally live through this. Like, you can do a completely deathless run of this game if you got a lot of skills and patience. But the nice thing about it is the game is like, we'll actually get a tooltip at some point. It's like, be proud of your death count, because it's very much, you know, try things out. If it kills you, we're not going to make fun of you for, you know, doing this thing. We want you to be trying things out and exploring. we get another new mechanic over here, these green things, which, if you touch them, it will refresh your jump. So you can use that to get all the way over here. Yeah, refresh your dash.
Dashes.
We also get this guy. That said, I think I'm actually going to fall into him from the other side. Because if we go up this way, there's actually another one, by the way. Yeah, these springs. Odds are the first time you're playing this, you won't actually pull that away from the background, and you'll just get popped right into it, which is a pretty good way to alert your player that there's a new mechanic in the area. Springs count as touching the ground, which means that if you touch it without a dash, it will refresh it. Even if it's not, like, on the ground itself.
If it's on a wall?
Yeah, so like if it's against a wall, it will still refresh your dash. Also worth noting that those green things will refresh your stamina as well. So like, if you've been climbing too aggressively on the walls and stuff and you're sliding off, you will in fact get it all back when you touch one of them. Useful little thing. Yeah, we can actually fall directly into here with the new character.
Oh, there.
I love that he has a fucking plaid speech background. This is crazy. Sounds pretty serious. This is Theo.
Theo?
An adventurer from a far-off land.
Nope.
Get a lot of text with Theo, luckily for us. And Mal is not really in much of a talky mood. But Theo's a very talky person, so...
Yeah.
Seattle.
Alright.
Celeste Mountain is in Canada, incidentally. Somewhere in Canada, quote unquote.
Totally in Canada, you can go there.
Higher abandoned cities. So yeah, we talk a little bit about this level. Built and abandoned by a corporation for some reason. You know, Canada. Canada.
Canada.
Canada, in the province of Canada, in Canada.
Not sure, but this is the rest of the stream, is just talking to this dude.
Yep. Budding photographer.
Sure, buddy. Sure.
A blog. Please. Good old Instapics.
I see you under stars.
I believe there is an Instagram account run by, like, the creators.
Yes, but... Spoilers in it?
Yes, it's like kind of in a post-game kind of way.
So don't look it up before you beat the game.
If you don't know what goes on in the game, yeah.
Grr.
You say so. Theo is absolutely the kind of person who uses internet lingo in real speech. Right? But he's less in it for summiting the mountain and kind of just seeing things around here. The ruins, which we may see sometime soon.
Geronimo? Okay.
Yep. It's great. I love it. I love him.
Alright.
So there we go. Those are all of his dialogue options for now. We will definitely be seeing him again, though. Yeah, you could also, if you're feeling not quite so courageous, jump up on that block up there and get a... This game's got a lot of stuff for, like, doing different, you know, like, weird and different things. If you'd like to. Yeah, this looks a bit suspicious. So yeah, oftentimes the game uses the strawberries as this sort of, like, you know, prizes for you being observant about things.
Nice.
Really teaches you to try to, like, you know, keep track of everything in the background. You can eagle eye out for things. Be careful not to get crushed by that. Though progress is over this way.
Get crushed.
You might notice that there is in fact a path over there. Not quite so much we can do over here, but there's a sign down there. Climb up from here. Find a hidden path.
Ah.
Yeesh, we even reset the modem too. Well, we'll take a moment. Let the internet come back.
It has been being a bit dodgy, like, almost.
Yeah, I might need to just call into Optimum at some point.
I think so. It's sort of now just being bad for
A consistent
while.
problem, yeah. Well, we'll get back when we get there.
Yep.
Take a moment for the internet or for OBS to realize it can connect to Twitch again. I imagine there's like a timeout or something that happens there. I got Steam back. Hopefully this will come back soon. Still up. Oh, there we go. Ugh. Alright, let that number go up. Hopefully we should be back. Yeah, it's our internet. Our router or modem or something seems to be going. We're probably going to end up calling about this at some point.
Yeah, it's been, like, doing this fairly consistent.
Yeah. So we might call today or
So it's
tomorrow
kind
and
of-
try to figure things out.
we had the power out, so like the modem has been reset.
Yeah,
so
well, I mean,
that's
I
been
also
done.
reset it out like at a separate time along with that
Yeah.
as well. So it's definitely like further upstream or the router's broken, which I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'll do some things. with that.
Yeah.
Either way, we're back now.
Yep.
If the stream died earlier, I went up basically through this secret path over here. Get another one of these things that we can see. We'll see that we'll be able to eventually get back this way, but for now, let's hop up here. You'll notice that sometimes these traffic things do in fact have spikes on them. Oh hey! Will-O-Wisp.
Thank you.
Thank you for the 5-month resub. Oop.
5 months.
Yeah, you gotta be a little careful about this.
You would.
How did that just pronounce ooh?
Uwu? I think they did say uwu.
You
right?
woo. Ah, this is actually a bit of a special place. You might need to get a piece of paper, like a notepad thing. And if we're coming out this way, we do in fact see a strawberry. But there's clearly a bit more to this as well. Arman326, thank you for the Prime subscription. 2 in a row.
Thank you.
Nice. Sure if that's like quiet or not.
Yeah.
Hard to say if that's like too quiet relative to the game or what. Anyway, but thank you so much. So we come over here. We've got some fancifully colored birds that occasionally dash, usually in the same direction. And we have a pattern that's being sent out here. It's also making, you know, like noises, but luckily you can use colors as well. What is it? It's white, purple, blue. Ah, yes. and red, purple, yellow. And then we can translate that over to the directions that these things are dashing in. The white is up. I don't believe this changes across playthroughs, so like once you have this written down, you'll have it, but it will come up later. Alright, you got that? So now, if we actually do that pattern, which is up, left, that
Bottom right.
down right,
Upright.
upright,
Left. Up left.
left, up left. Create a heart. Kind of bounce off the heart a little bit, but if you dash into it, you collect it. And that will go on forever until you press A, by the way.
What does that do?
So every level has a few extra collectibles along with the strawberries that they have. Generally, the hearts tend to be like really obscure ones, things with these patterns and stuff that you really have to be working on to be able to get them. They won't do anything for a very long time in the game, but they will unlock something eventually. There is one other non-strawberry type of collectible in each level, and we will hopefully run into that in a bit. It does other stuff. Whee! Luckily, you don't have to go through all that backwards. Usually, when the game has things they only want you to go through one way, they're pretty good about providing backups. You know, like quick moves to go other ways. So something that the speedrun timer might obscure a little bit is the crack in this wall. We come up to this. There's a few different ways you can jump off cliffs, incidentally. So yeah, you'll see that the strawberry is not going away just yet, because we need to be back on terra firma. I just barely made that there.
Nice.
And if we go up here, notice, that there's even more.
Even more secret.
Yeah, the game can be a little bit evil like that sometimes. Occasionally you'll get these platforms that fall down as soon as you jump on them. So, we come up here. This looks terrifying.
Yep.
You can totally, like, grab the strawberry and then, you know, jump back to safety there. But you can also do that.
Coward's way.
Indeed. I believe this will actually take us to the next screen that goes from another way. So what we might do is try to get back. See if there's anything else missing. Ah, that's just a death fall. Wasn't sure. I think you can totally go back to the other spots, and I'm not sure if I missed a strawberry.
Yeah.
You'll often get those sort of like slightly diverging pathways that like meet up later on.
Yeah.
Oftentimes in the speed run, that'll be like you'll pick the fastest one and go through it, but for the regular run, you will often get strawberries hidden all over. It actually looks like there are not. Because I know that that's not anything down there, and this will take us right up to... Oh, right, there is one more room that also doesn't have a strawberry. You're actually supposed to do this like this, by the way. Because in the speedrun, I do this a bit differently. You can actually just jump onto the platform and then jump onto that wall over there, but in the run, we do it like this. Almost.
Run, you do shenanigans.
Not quite high enough up for it, it seems like. That's totally do is just that. And there we go. It even actually, like that, like, room over there won't even show up unless you've been through that. Let's see. This comes down if you do it like this. You might notice that there seems to be something else over there. Or there seems to be another hole over there. And, I mean, while you might think you know, I did say that there aren't really that many downs. It's kind of pretty obvious that that's not so much a death pit when the whole place is surrounded by spikes. So, time that right, fall into here. Yep.
See, you weren't on there long enough for it to...
Yeah, so, yeah, like as you're jumping on these things, you can actually theoretically just bring a, bring a strawberry all the way to the end of a level. Like, just as long as you keep jumping after you land, the strawberry won't go away. So if you can keep jumping the entire level, you will actually start to build a train of strawberries. And it gets kind of funny. There's also a path up here that we don't tend to take. You can sort of see the game just, like, teaching you concepts and iterating on them. Like, if you're not quite brave enough to jump straight over from that and dive over, there is, you know, a bunch of walls over here that you can jump onto, which is nice. And it also is like, you know, sometimes it'll be like, okay, grab the strawberry and get back, and other times it'll just be like, as long as you get the strawberry, you're set. Which, again, I really like the way that it modulates difficulty using them. Careful not to go too high up there.
Careful not to get squished.
That too. Yeah, if you like dash up in a panic, you'll end up straight on those spikes.
You'll spike it. You'll spike it.
There's this room that I skipped in a fun way during runs. The room has so many fun, weird tricks on it. The strawberry is actually pretty tough to get. Legitimately, like, I mean, you can do is jump over this way. You have to make sure that you actually get back and are able to grab it. It's pretty easy to go over and get it, but if you can't get back to that platform before it goes all the way back, you're basically stuck.
Yep.
That's sort of like a lot of the fun in it. So for the record, what we normally do in the actual run is this, or like, you know, basically get a dash jump that flies all the way across the screen. You can instead ride this thing out and have it launch you. That said, you might notice that there is a whole nother section over here that you can head to.
That was very big.
Oh yes, all of the levels are actually way bigger than they let on. By the way, you may have noticed that when we opened that up, yep, a platform over here, leading to another collectible. You will get very familiar with these types of puzzles. They are the B-side puzzles. So these cassette tapes unlock the B-side, which is actually a harder version of the level. And it's basically like these challenges tend to revolve around these pink and blue blocks that flip a cart from each other in time with the music. And it's quite good. So, launch ourselves back over to here and then head down. There is, in fact, a whole other direction for us to go here. So yeah, each level has that B-side along with having the strawberries and the cassette tape. Or has the cassette tape along with strawberries and the heart. I can words. I'm very good at them, in fact. Hop up this way. Ah, yes, we get to the edge of this cliff, which has a strawberry down there. Not too hard to grab. I don't think there's anything else out here. If you try to go up in a level that you can't go up in, it becomes very obvious. Of course, the nice thing about this game is that because it doesn't punish you at all for dying, you can always just check something like that, you know? You'll get sent a few seconds back, and that's fine.
No, I like making jump up first.
Oh, of course.
Everything to do.
The best part about it is, like, I've collected almost all the strawberries in this game, but you won't necessarily remember all of them, because there are a ton. Let's do this the dumb way.
Yes!
Oops.
I love the dumb way.
There we go. Unfortunately, I didn't keep my dash, so... This is a speedrunning trick that's a bit tough to say. In fact, if I want to get the strawberry, it's actually harder, so I'll do this the intended way. So, like, you can actually see how the game is already ramping up challenges like this. You sort of have to time it so that you fly far enough to get past that little lip, but not too far into the giant wall of spikes that's over
I
here.
love giant walls.
Indeed. So here's another no dash challenge. Please no dashy. Importantly though, the strawberry is still a physical object as it's flying away, which means that if you dash straight into it, you will still
You'll
collect
grab
it
it.
before it runs away.
Oh, okay.
That will come into play at a later date. But for now, we got that one, so we're good. Come up over to here. And you can see just how the levels really, really build onto themselves, and they sort of teach you the basic concept, and each level sort of has its own gimmick that it works with, but builds on throughout the level. That's another really good one that I love. So it's like you're getting comfortable with these flying platforms to, know that you have to jump onto them. But if you go too quick, it'll just run you straight into those spikes. And then the way that it gives you that falling platform right away means that you immediately have to convert that into a jump off and dash across. And it's really, really good challenge. I like it a lot. I believe we are getting to the final rooms of this place. Let's do this the good and proper way. You might, if you look up and left, notice a hole. If we jump off of there, find another path over here. And there we go. Here's where we start getting these, really gotta figure out how to use these dash jump things and get really comfortable with the dash. I didn't mention it, but the dash is 8-directional. Up, down, down left, down right, all that fun stuff. Die. That kind of thing.
Die left, die right.
Yep. By the way, I do this in a super dumb way. The way that you're actually supposed to do this is that this platform falls down here and actually gives you a place to jump over from. It's nice. Yeah, it's like not too many unique gimmicks, but these platforms really are the unique gimmick of the level in that way, because, they teach you about the game's momentum system and the way that anything that moves will actually give Madeline momentum, which is cool. Said, yeah, there we go. This is the end of level 1. And this is what this actually reads. Dedicated to those who perished. That's our first level. Ends with us camping for the night.
Really fun.
At least she knows how to start a fire.
Right quick on it too.
Indeed.
Hey bird.
And a bird lands on her head.
Bird, go away bird.
We've been doing okay.
We're alright. Died a lot, but that's the game.
Yeah. I do love the way that this game sort of melds together the sort of frustration and triumph that you feel playing through the levels with kind of the way that Madeline feels as she goes along with it. I think it's really good at taking those emotions that you feel from beating a really hard level and transferring them into the way that the story feels. Yeah, you'll see we got all of the strawberries in the level, the crystal heart in the level, and also the B-side. I won't be doing the B-sides now. We might do them later. We'll kind of see how long the actual game takes to play through. They should be fun to watch though because they're very difficult.
You will die a lot.
Yeah, Chapter 1 is fantastic. I really, really love it. And it's sort of like a really good tutorial on level design in general. The creator of the game, Matt Nelson, it's something like that, Thorson. He actually gave a talk at GDQ a few months before the game came out about the level design for it, and it's quite cool. Anyway, let's go over to that old site. I believe these are the ruins that Theo mentioned. The 3D model... Oh, right, there we go. The game also mentions that strawberries are optional challenge things, and they don't unlock anything in the game. They literally are just, there for the count of I've done these puzzles. Yeah, the talk's great. Oh, hello, Cheetah.
Oh dear.
End up, things looking a little bit different than when we went to sleep.
Weird, huh?
These things here. If you grab onto them, they make a nice metally tinking sound.
Tink, tink.
Tink. But can't do much with them right now. See light from down there. If we come over to this way, we actually see that our path is blocked. So it looks like down is the only way to go. Yeah, our fire was green as well. I also love this, that you get this sort of really quiet way to, you know, like section where you're going around. I also love that if you look at the, like, these little star things, they're scrolling, like, differently as the screen scrolls. I really love that effect. These seeds and stuff, too. Break that apart, grab this strawberry. It's probably possible to do this, to get this one without going this way with some momentum shenanigans, but, this is a perfectly acceptable way to do it.
I love momentum shenanigans.
Indeed. If we look around here, you can get over to this room over here, but there's actually not going to be much to do, so let's instead examine this cracked wall.
Hey.
Jump over these. You can tell that the game's sort of continuing to ramp up these challenges, but hasn't quite shown us anything different yet.
Yeah. I haven't seen the new
There's a
mechanic
crack over
yet.
on the wall over there. Ah, yes. So you may notice. Oh, good. That is actually a hole in the wall. Sometimes you will actually have to keep a dash to be able to break a wall at the end of a long segment, but in this case, as long as you land in it,
That's
you
just a hole.
can get down here.
Already a hole.
Yep. Lucky you. By the way, you can climb over spikes just fine. It's just going down them that's the problem. So we come up to a mirror. That don't look right.
Bit creepy.
Well, whatever.
Uh-oh.
Well, see you later.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Now the main mechanic of the level opens up. These dream blocks, if you dash into them, and I really love the way this is designed, by the way, because you cannot by any means get up to this thing without a dash. So you're almost guaranteed to jump into it and suddenly understand how this works. By the way, there's also this viewfinder here. These things will let you see like parts of the level without going to them. And that's how you can actually notice that the strawberry is here
Strawberry
without
down there, yeah.
knowing about it. These things are useful for sort of like doing route planning and stuff like that. Anyway, so the game gives you this little introduction to these things. Of course, if you're observant, you may notice there's a hole in that. There's a strawberry. Whee! One thing about these that is really useful to internalize right now is that they will actually replenish your dash. So when you come out of them, you will have another dash, and eventually that's going to be very important.
I did really like how the music kicked in once you
Yes.
finished it.
So here's the deal with these seeds. That wasn't what I wanted. Here's the deal with these seeds. If we collect them and then stand on the ground, they disappear. So we have to collect all of them without touching the ground.
Ah,
Get it from a
strawberry.
strawberry.
Okay.
Yep. I could go up, but I am actually... Because
Love
there is
going
one
down.
more of these. It actually leads to the B-side.
Ah.
These things get downright maniacal eventually, by the way. Every B-side ends with one of these. Which is just hell. There we go. By the way, you will always be teleported back to the start of the room when you grab a B-side. It is very much a one direction puzzle.
Yeah, I didn't know.
There is one last thing that we can do here that I'm deliberately ignoring, but
So excited that you are doing a casual run on here. I love this game and its story so
it's
much.
so good.
Aw,
That's the
thank you.
reason I'm doing it, in fact, because I love this game. But thank you very, very much for the bits, King You. So we get one of these strawberries right here. And this is kind of one of the first, like, kind of things where if you just jump straight down for it, it is very much going to smack you instantly. That said, if you do use your dash here, you're kind of trapped. Instead, do that. You can also hit these things at an angle, but word to the wise, if you end up against a wall on one of these things, you will die.
Die.
Yeah, so like if I do this, I'm dead. Worth noting.
You dash right into a wall and die.
That said, you'll notice we can step on top of
There's
this.
a hole.
And there is a hole down there. So, yep, we end up down there. In this room. Again, this game is very, very good about rewarding the observant person. Whee! I'm doing a thing here that that the game does not tell you about until the B-side of this level. I won't talk about it though, don't worry about it. It's not that important, and you don't need it to beat the level. It's basically a little extra mechanic that goes along with these dream blocks. Anyway, if we can't get that. Not too bad. There's one more hole here, though, leading to an even more devious puzzle. And, like, you can already see that the game is ramping up with these dream block puzzles. By the way, a thing Kavanaugh actually told me that I didn't even know about beforehand is that if you hold the grab button to hold on and you do this, or, you know, and like you jump through one of these puzzle things, you will actually clasp onto the other side. And that's one of those things that you may not know, but that is super useful. Ah, yes, I think you actually have to be pressing the button in the opposite direction as well to grab onto it. You will instantly latch onto it, and it does make a lot of these sections quite a bit easier.
Ah, nice.
I think that's everything on this side, yeah. One thing we'll notice when I revisit a level, which I will do on this one for reasons, is that you actually, like, you don't get to see your strawberry count, or like the location of the strawberries the first time, but when you come back, you will be able to see if you've missed any. Anyway, if we go up this, we end up here, although you'll notice that this is not actually progress. Which is one of those things I really like. The game is sort of like, here, you can have a strawberry. There we go. That's one of those ones where I got a little fancy for myself.
Off that wall.
But yeah, like the game actually forces you to think a little bit laterally here just to make sure that you're actually comfortable with the idea of these sideways ones. Because if you just go straight up through this and don't like think that you can do this sideways kind of jump, you can't, basically.
Yeah.
For people who know the game, I'm not missing something. I'm just going to show it off in a different order.
Okay.
For the record. Here's a fun little thing. You might think, maybe there's a secret over here. No.
Nope.
So yeah, the game, in case you really, really didn't notice the whole sideways thing, the game is like, no, actually, engage with this right now. You're going to need it in a moment. Because now it's time to apply the knowledge.
Hello. Hello, Shadow Me.
Most people call this Battle Line, which is a very good name. The game calls her part of you. Battle Line just flows quite a bit better.
Alright.
Maybe not as cool and confident as she looks at first.
Mm-hmm.
Mountain climbing?
Very cool hobby. Bit mean. Evil twin.
I love the way Battle Line plays with the portrait.
Air dripping out there. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So, until I start moving, this section won't start. But, as soon as I do, she is going to chase you. So this is one of those mirror chase segments. that you see like in Mario Galaxy and stuff. She will follow you at a set distance, which does mean that if you go like slowly, she will also go slowly. And like if you screw up movements, she will also screw up movements. It very much is about more, you know, making sure you're not accidentally going in her direction than it is anything else. This is a cute one. So yeah, this is also a way that things will tend to go. Yeah, when you're trying to get back around to do things, you really have to be careful. Even if you are in one of those dream blocks, she will be able to hit you in it. This also introduces the doorbell things. Basically, you will have to hit some or many of them, you know, like one or many of them to make a thing go. And in a chase segment, that means you can't quite take your path back. These things become very much about picking your path.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is also the sort of thing, like, because she mirrors your movements one-to-one, she, you know, will mirror your screw-ups as well. You might think you can go through this, you cannot. Yeah, you're also getting 3 shadow clones now, so...
So murdered.
Which means that you can... basically, you will get more and more of these clones chasing you each time. And you can also see there's clearly something outside of the castle if you look over. So maybe keep that in mind. Never. This music is so good, too. I feel like this is probably the exact place where I kind of like just fell in love with this game.
Getting murdered by your shadow clone.
But to music that I'm just fucking grooving out to the whole time. It's so good. You also, if you need a breather, can do the same thing at the start that we did with the last rooms. Incidentally, yeah, she will not chase you in this room. And while there is a strawberry, you will notice that, boy howdy, does it look like there's some stuff out there. Maybe we should keep that in mind. Anyway, this is the back of this room. You let this fall down. Yeah, I missed a strawberry, so I'm gonna have to not do that. Luckily, I kind of already do this one in the speedrun. This doorbell can be a little bit tough. You really have to be like careful with how you jump there, because you do have to wait for it. Alright, there is a little path here that you can fall through. You have to be like, you have to like dash into it and possibly be going down, but let's take the normal path instead. Ah, right, that's another one. Okay, that one requires you, I think, to either take the path or... Yeah, you can totally get it this way as well. That said, I think I'll do it with this thing here. So yeah, the nice thing is that like if you quote-unquote lose time against this, you know, Battlein will also wait for you at wherever you waited. That one's actually a little bit tougher than the last one first. You have to like time that. You don't really get a jump exactly. Yeah, that's another one that you can fall down if you don't do the thing.
Finish the dream.
Yep. Doing this kind of a very vanilla way at the moment. And of course, they put strawberries here to sort of like, you know, modulate your challenge. You don't have to always be doing this in the exact super speed running way. Which is cool. Like, this is a very tough room that can be very frustrating. I've definitely gotten a little mad on stream sometimes. That's the way I tend to do it in the speedrun, because it's the fastest. This is the part where, like, the shadow clones will just, screw with you, because you really do have to wait here to be able to get through. But, luckily for us, this is actually the end of the segments. She will stop chasing you right here.
That was the one we came from the left there.
Yep, this is actually the other end of the castle. Yep. And I love it, because the music actually slowly fades away as you go through here. Might notice, though. Yep. Down first, take a look. Just a few extras. These ones are great. Like, you can come down through them. You know how I said you can go up through spikes?
Yep, I go down through them.
Yep. So it really forces you to, like, think about the puzzle and you know, like, how you move, basically. This is another one. If you know about the grabbing thing, this one's quite a bit easier, because there is not anywhere to stand. You sort of have to very quickly move yourself back and forth over these things. I believe there's anything else, but I could be. Come out to here.
Info shot.
Yeah. Forest booth.
iPhone network.
Indeed.
In this day and age.
Hmm.
You called me. Right?
Like the phone's sticking
Oh,
out.
we're dead. Good game. Good game.
Yep. I do love that old, like, 90s plot point that I feel like I haven't heard in a while, that when you're dreaming you can't read a book. And how the memorial was, kind of messed up right at the start of this. So, yes, we awake, and it turns out all of it was, a dream. There's Theo up there.
Theo.
Let's see. Get back around. Over to him. We have a chat. Seems he got past us while we were asleep.
Just walked on by us.
Hmm. Yeah, he wanted to check out these ruins.
Yeah, he did.
Big fan.
Good.
Game has so many great little moments.
Nice.
Maybe not our best picture.
Oh no, amazing, brilliant, fantastic. Never delete it. Go do it, post it, post it. Yeah, no, I know that feeling.
I think I can actually just hit the button from here. Keep forgetting I can just do that. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we are. We'll do it. Fucking do it.
Told myself I would. Build that brand, Theo.
Hell
Exactly.
yeah. Love life goals. How do you live, head?
Yep, there we go. Yeah, we are. I am definitely gonna call, and they'll do a reset thing, and it'll get better for now. Like, it says we have internet. Yeah, it's like it's a green box with 0 kilobytes. Really only been lately that it started doing this.
Yeah. I mean, this past week it's been.
There we go. Alright, we'll be back. We'll be coming back in a bit. But yeah,
Super
it's been pretty bad this week in particular. Did you reconnect? There it goes again. Jeez, this is like
Internet's having a fucking time.
quite bad. We're missing great idle animations. Get all thinky. Twitch gave me a notification that the modal that the background is up, but that was just like half a second.